We're live.
We're live.
Exciting.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Amanda Patterson.
And I'm
And
Rachel Needle.
yep, I've got Dr. Rachel Needle, and we're excited today to be talking about something that I think that is going to be really valuable to you. So I hope you enjoy it. And we're going to be talking about mindset and how to have the mindset for a smart practice.
And when we talk about mindset, we're talking about a lot of different things, right? So we'll start with you have to know where you want to be, right? You have to have an idea of what it is you want for your life to be able to begin having the mindset for what you want. And mindset is really everything. When we talk about mindset, I think about two particular mindsets that I think have been most helpful with my growing my businesses to where they are today, right? That's the growth mindset and an abundance mindset. So, I think we'll talk a little bit more about both of those throughout the Facebook Live today, because I think those are really important when we're talking about not just building a smart practice, but building a successful and smart practice, one that's going to succeed, one that's going to help you continue to grow throughout your career in whichever direction you decide that you want to grow in.
I love that you used the words growth and abundance. I actually just wrote down two words that really stand out for me. So it's passion and determination. And I think that's what really drives me. Like, really, I have a passion for this business. Like, this is what I do. And it's what I do not only professionally, but it's what I do personally, right? Like, a lot of friends who are therapists and connect with a lot of people socially who are therapists. I enjoy going to conferences and those kinds of things. And then the determination, that's like another piece, is really being determined to achieve your goals. And I think that you really have to be determined in order to go after something big in your life. And so I'd love to hear, for those of you that are watching, if you have maybe two words or something that drives you, let us know. If you don't know, if you're new to this, we definitely want you to join us on our webinar on June 1st. It's going to be at 3 p.m. and we're going to be talking about all of these things. We're going to be going through how to have a good money mindset, how to have a solid plan around building a private practice and building your smart practice. So we're really excited about that. So if you haven't already signed up, please be sure to sign up. We're going to be going through our pieces and we're going to be answering your questions right then and there. So from these lives, if you have any questions, you're like, hey, I'm really stuck on like what my mindset needs to be, we'll jump in there and answer any questions that you have during our Facebook Live. So let's go back to mindset and let's talk about that a little bit more. Rachel, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and then I'll go ahead and share too.
Yeah, so I think beginning with, as I mentioned, where you see yourself. So it's important to take a minute and think about what is it you want for your life so that we can have some purpose and some goals in mind. So take a minute and think about what it is that you want. And when I say what it is you want, so where you want your practice to be, what your ideal schedule looks like, what you want to be able to provide for yourself, what's enough, what's where you want to be, if it's more than what you need to survive. What is it that you want for your life and why? Because I think that's a really important thing to be able to get into the mindset. When we talk about growth mindset, for instance, right? Not everything is going to go perfectly. That's something that you need to know in starting out. And that's okay, because growth mindset includes being able to learn from our mistakes and see where it is we need to be, and learning from not just what we did, but trying to figure out what we can do to be better. And that gets us to something that Amanda and I talk a lot about, which is sometimes you do have to spend money to make money in some areas. So for me, I like to weigh out what my time is worth and look at, is there someone that can do something better and for an amount of money that would make it smarter for me, right? So we're talking about smart practices. So for instance, I built a website before. When I was first starting out, I did that because I didn't have the money to invest right away, right? I was straight out of graduate school. I decided I wanted to do private practice. Postdoc was there. So I didn't spend money at the time. Now, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, A, I'm not an expert. B, it will cost, for the, $2,500 I might spend, right? I'd spend a lot more hours that I could be using seeing clients or doing something else that would build my business. So you have to look at and weigh what's most productive and smart for you. In terms of mindset, when we talk about growth, we have to look at learning and investing in our future. So constantly, I am constantly attending not just CEs for, what's required and to learn more about doing therapy, right? But things about business. Amanda and I have, both worked with performance and executive business coaches to help us get to where we are, right? That's something we invested in ourselves with. So we want to continue to learn and put money in a place that we know it will double, triple, quadruple what we are bringing in. So I'll pause for a minute to see if anybody has any questions on anything like that, any of the things that I've said so far.
Yep. If you're watching either now or on the replay, please ask us questions. If you are watching on the replay, let us know and type replay, because it can be hard to know which ones are the current comments or which ones aren't, but we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Any questions coming up? Let's see. I'll go in the group. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Let's see, let's pull it up. It's raining here. It's kind of gross out. So, okay, so no questions yet, but we'll go back. We'll make sure to answer those questions. So let's talk about that mindset of you have to spend money to make money. I think this is, again, where therapists get really stuck. I've said it before, and I truly mean it. I'm excited for your portion of the webinar, because I want to know your mindset around money. Rachel, for those of you who don't know, just has this really great money mindset. She really, she talks about it, she exudes it. It's very congruent in her life. And it's really something that attracted me to her, because my money story is, it doesn't always appear for me so linear, right? My money story is a little bit more convoluted. And so it's really nice to be around somebody who exudes that, because it helps to give me that confidence too, to, whatever it is that, I'm working around, or when we were really, talking about working together and she was throwing out numbers and I'm like, I had to take a little breath. So it's I'm excited for that piece, because I think at all stages of the game, it's really important to have that, because, I've talked about before, you have to get comfortable, spending $50 or $100, right? Spending $100 on a mini course, or spending $500 on another higher level course, or spending, I've spent, $7,000 before on a mastermind, right? And that was worth it. But that might, when people think about spending money, they might say oh my goodness, spending $7,000 is so, outside of my norm. It's so not in line with my money story to protect, or to be frugal, or to save always for a rainy day, right? We all have our money stories. I have mine. And so it's really important, I think, to think about how spending that money can really help you align with your goals. I know when I spent money on different programs or different coachings or different, just even things like AdWords, it was directly in line with my business plan. And so if you don't have at least the bare bones of a business plan, you definitely want to join us in our webinar, because I'm going to be going over that. That's my passion piece. Some of you already know that. You've been to my workshops. That is what I'm really passionate about. I'm a planner. I think that we have to plan. We have to be prepared, and in a healthy way, not in a doomsday way. And that a part of that is you're going to be able to spend money and get more comfortable spending money when you have an idea of your goals for your practice.
And I think it's important to add that everybody is different, right? Amanda's talking about what attracted us to each other, right? And Amanda says a lot, I'm a planner, and I am not a planner. Right? So I have had to learn where I needed to plan. So, 7 businesses, successful businesses, and I don't think I once drafted a full business plan, right? I had to learn to do that. And so when I learned, I realized what benefit it could bring me. And I realized that the way that I do things can also work, right? So if you're freaked out by any piece of this, not the business plan, that's really actually very important. Most people need that. But if you're freaked out, realize that everybody is different, and we're going to show you different ways to do this, so that if for instance, how many hours a week you want to work, how much money you want to make, we can fill in the blanks and help you get to that point. And I think about things in terms, some people think about things in terms of like, okay, let's say our course is $1,000. So, and you charge $200 per client. All you need is 5 clients or 1 client to see them 5 times to then break even, right? The course helped you, or something you invested in was beneficial for you. And I think that you can think like that, or you can think in the abundance, right? That like, you have to spend money to make money. There is enough for everybody to go around. I don't need to be nervous that, recently Amanda opened up a group practice in West Palm where mine is. That doesn't bother me, right? I don't think it's taking out of my pocket in any way. And I don't think she does either. That's part of an abundance mindset. There are other courses and other people doing things similar to what we're doing. Doesn't take away from what any of us is going to make, right? You have different audiences, different this. So that is thinking in abundance. There's enough for everybody. And when it comes to yourself, there's enough for you. You have to think, you have to think big, right? What kind of life ideally do you want? Don't think small and then get there. We'll break it down for you, right? You're not going to like make that, $1 million in your first 6 months, right? We're going to be realistic, but we're going to help you get to wherever it is you say or want to be.
So I was telling Rachel, as we were planning for this mindset talk, that I have been watching The Last Dance. So if any of you haven't watched that and you're looking for some entertainment value right now, I would highly recommend it. And it's, the documentary on Michael Jordan. And that man has like the best mindset that I have seen. It's I think really sets him apart in besides like sheer talent, right? There is an undeniable amount of talent there, but coupled with that is this charisma and this determination and this idea that he called himself, I think, like the alpha male or something like that. And I just thought that was so in line with his personality, but I thought it was so beneficial for him to be able to get where he's at in life. And it really got me thinking about my own mindset. And the mindset, a lot of people talk about this, especially when we talk about money. It's like, I'm not confident to charge my rate. I'm not confident to charge my rate. I feel like I need to slide. I feel like I can't ask for what I want. I feel like I'm not going to get what I want. And I'm not a believer in just like the law of attraction, like you just say it and it comes to you. I do think you need to have a plan around how it's going to come to you. You probably need some kind of strong marketing plan in order to attract, high, paying clients, private pay clients. You're not just going to, like, we talked about this a couple episodes, like videos ago, like you're not going to be able to just like hang your shingle up, right? Like Michael Jordan just didn't go out and play basketball and that was it. Like there was things that, needed to happen for you to reach your goals, but having that mindset is going to be a really big part. So if you struggle with that, like, let us know now where your struggle is. Like, is it around, the marketing to getting private pay clients? Is it the struggle around being confident? Is there another struggle that you have? If you're struggling, come to our webinar, watch The Last Dance, and you will leave probably feeling motivated, right? And feeling excited. Cause I'm like, man, like there are like, how can I like walk into a room like that's appropriate, right? And say like, I am the alpha here, and I am like ready to take over whatever it is that I need to take over, to make my private practice successful. For instance,
are we affiliates for The Last Dance yet? I mean,
I know, yeah, right. Like, how can I get in on that? I think like the only affiliate is like Nike, right? Like, it's certainly an advertisement for Jordans and Nike.
I love him. He really is just the epitome of like, I don't know, just a great player all around, not just his talent, but like you said, his brain, his mindset, how he went about building his career and getting to where he was. And again, not just because of his talent, right? He was a personality too.
Yep.
So
So we're going to be going over strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and really in those strengths and opportunities is where people achieve that greatness, right? Like that's really how people shine. So I'm, excited to work on those things with people because I think it's really, really important. Okay, I'm just going to jump into Facebook. Okay, what portion of yearly revenue should therapists spend on marketing? This is coming from somebody who I think is in marketing, so he's probably wanting to tell us what he thinks. So
sorry, go ahead. You can go first.
like an industry, yeah, I think like an industry standard is like 5%, something like that. 5% of your yearly budget goes into marketing. I think it depends on a couple of things. If you are in a growth phase, that might, you're just starting out, that's going to be one amount. If you're in a growth phase, that's going to be another amount. And if you're in like a sustaining phase, that's probably going to be a different amount. Let me go into my QuickBooks and tell you now how, what percentage of our revenue goes into marketing. But I think if you're a private, I'll do like a quick numbers really quick. Like if you're wanting to gross $100,000 a year, and you're wanting to do 5%, that's $500, or unless it's $5,000, so it's about $400 a month. That is, a website, a decent Google AdWords campaign, and maybe like, some, marketing, physical marketing material. So that sounds like if I were wanting to do a private pay practice, like that sounds like about right to me if I'm trying to hit 100,000. So about 5% if I'm starting growing.
And I'll say, again, it depends, right? Because I don't spend a lot of marketing at all, right? Ours is mostly word of mouth, Psychology Today, which is, like $30 per
Minimal,
therapist
yeah.
a month. So not bad there. So a directory, which is inexpensive. If you have a name in the community, there are ways to go about marketing without spending money, right? I always try to go in that direction first. That being said, at some point, if you're looking to grow more, like in my practice, I'm looking to go, 7 other therapists, right? So if that starts to not work in any way, I will look at other ways to do that. So with my therapist, I'm having them all do videos now, right? So we're putting content out there, not taking very long. They're 2 minutes, but they're leading questions and inquiries and getting our faces and our names known. We have a good connections with people in our community. So my person who does, is child psychologist with pediatricians in the area we started marketing with and just talking to. Once you get on their radar, you're usually the person they send to. So, Amanda says 5%, and I agree that that's a good number to kind of stay with. But if you don't want to spend money on marketing, there are plenty of ways to do it where you don't have to, and you can try that out first. So we're in our course, we talk all about the different ways that you can market, and a good chunk of them are for free.
And I'm a big fan of free marketing as well. So I think with marketing, you're either going to spend time or money. Like you're going to spend time writing blog posts, getting some, good search engine optimization on your website and through your blog posts, posting on Google My Business, posting on Facebook, being active in those groups, meeting people for lunches and going to networking events. Or, on the flip side, you're going to pay for Google AdWords, or you're going to pay for some other kind of like Facebook marketing, or maybe hiring people to do things for you. So again, want to like wrap it back around to your goals. Like, do you know what your goals are in your business? If you don't, then you need to identify them, because that will help you to make a decision whether you should pay for marketing. When we opened our second location, I didn't really know anybody in the area, and I didn't have the time necessarily to go banging on people's doors. So we did an AdWords campaign. We still have that AdWords campaign live, and a lot of referrals get driven from there. And then sort of secondary to that, now that I'm wanting to shift to that business, I'm like, I probably need to like join the chamber and, shake some hands in the area, right? And so it doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. And I think it's really important to know what your goals are for your business.
And I remember when I had like this shift, right? When I first, like 5 years into my career, and maybe, about four years into my career, when I was like, not wanting to hire an assistant, right? I didn't want to hire like the first person yet. And my mother would always tell me, like, you have no idea what a difference is going to make in your life. And I continue and I, do everything myself. And, I was making more and more money. And finally, she said it again. She's like, you have the money to hire somebody. You need to do it. And I'm like, but I don't want to part with this money. Look at this amount of income every year, and I'm going to part with it. And finally, I remember when I first gave in to hiring the first person that was just, as administrative assistant, also, someone who did things for my practice. And then I hired people for other businesses. I realized how valuable that was. When you get to a certain point, again, you look at your time versus the money. Things just, I am so blessed right now. The person who's, helped me function right now, Christina, is incredible. And, we were talking this morning about, putting our graphic in the banner. And before we even finished the conversation, I had texted her and it was done, right? I sent you the banner. So this was something that, to be honest, if I would have tried to do that graphic, would have taken me a good 25 minutes. It took her maybe 3, and it was done, right? So we make more money when we invest in ourselves and our businesses. But of course, we know you have to get to the point where you're able to do that. So again, that's a mindset thing. I had a really hard time thinking, right? First assistant I hired, I think I paid $36,000 a year, something like that. And I was like, I don't want to part with that money, And then I realized, like, as I went on, that, what a great investment that was. And then hired another person, and, you hire different levels of people. So you have to get into the mindset where you understand that there is abundance, that you will make more money if you put more and invest more into yourself, but that's not the only way to get there.
I think that's so important. I'll share with everybody. I literally just sent an email out to my team that I'm hiring a clinical director for my group practice. This is like a big deal for me because I don't know, I'm like looking out into the window, not looking at you all, evading all of you therapists who can see into my soul. But I would say I'm a little bit of a micromanager. Okay, I admitted it on live TV, fine. And it's really new for me to have this person, but I know it needed to be done, and that was a mindset shift. The same exact thing. Like, I needed to shift my mindset to like being the doer, the one that's always like dotting T's and I's and dotting I's and crossing T's. And so, that was a mindset shift, and I've like had to do some work around it. And I'm, like, we have to consistently do this on a regular basis. But I know part of my goals are to expand my practice and to really, be a force, in our areas, and to be collaborative, and to be well respected. And, there are just some things you have to shift sometimes in order to achieve other goals. And, money is one of those things. Your mindset around money, and your mindset just around what you're doing as a clinician. A lot of people work for agencies, and you have to shift out of that agency talk. Like, it's different in private practice than it is in agency. So for those of you, if you're looking to leave your agency, we want to hear from you. Like, give us a little shout out now and let us know, like, I'm ready to leave my agency. Okay, let's go and see any more questions that people are up here. I know people all the time like tell us to like read biographies of people and autobiographies of like people who have great mindset. Like, I'm feeling like a little inspired to do that right now. I think that's like a really good way to shift. And like I said, I think we have to shift our mindset like at all different phases of private practice. So those of you who are even, maybe you've been in practice a while, maybe you already have multiple 6 figures, how are you going to get to the next level, and what's the next level? And like, not that we can't be content and be grateful where we're at, but if you're really looking to expand, we want to hear from you. And we're here to help you in that process, how you can move past just, everybody, like Rachel and I always like talk about, like, everybody talks about 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Like, how can we get you to 2, 3, 4, 5, and more, sets to a 7-figure, practice or a 7-figure business? And how can we, scale up to that? That's, the next level of all of this.
And just knowing and believing that it's possible and getting your mind to the point where you can dream and imagine these things happening, because that is really the first step, right? Your mindset has to be in a place where you can see this, where you know where you want to be, and then believe that it can happen. And I'll tell you that both of us can tell you it can. So we really are here to support you. You know, we're hoping you'll join us for our webinar. That's another really great step. And let us know if you have questions about mindset and the mindset of a smart practice.
So we posted a link, so we'd love to have you join us, like we said, and we will be here. We're going to be here not next Monday because it's Memorial Day, but on Tuesday, and we'll be going over, you know, our next topic. So please let us know what questions you have. We'll go back through the replay, answer any of those questions. Let us know if you're watching on the replay and have questions. Just write like replay question, so then that way we know, you know, what questions were coming from there. But you know, we're going to work on our mindset. We're going to be right present with you doing that. And we will see you soon, everybody.
Bye. Thank you for joining us.